We are at Laguna Seca, Northern California, just up the road from Fort Ord, the firing range, where we are loaded and ready to go with the battle number 10 of the American Le Mans Series. Hello everybody, I'm Derek Daly alongside Jeremy Dale here, and welcome to one of the great motorsports locations in North America, and welcome to the latest sports car battleground.
Steve Evans, but next year it should be a different story.
It may be. It's been an awfully disappointing season for the BMW team in the GT class. They won but one race and had that taken away from them, a fuel cell violation. In fact, there were 4 Porsches starting ahead of the quickest BMW driven by this man. Janssen, what do you think? Hans Stuck said yesterday, it won't be the fastest car that wins, it'll be the smartest.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, we maybe don't have the fastest car out there, but I think we have a very consistent car. And we are going to play this very safe and try to play smart, as Hans said yesterday, because I think that's exactly who's going to win the race. That's going to be the smartest for the first 2 hours.
Good luck catching those Porsches.
Thank you very much.
Nicholas Janssen of Southern California.
Now let's go to Lori Pretty, who is the co-COO of GlobalCenter, for those magical words.
Drivers, start your engines! Thank you.
We are back. Jeremy Dale, Derek Daly, Calvin Fish, and Steve Evans bringing you the American Le Mans Series from Laguna Seca Raceway. And as you can see, this is the final warm-up lap being led away by the poleman, Ronaldo Capello. This is a remarkable racetrack, so famous, started first back in 1957, the first race. And I think, Jeremy, we should take a look at our Audi track map.
And of course, this racetrack has evolved over the years. The section between turn 2 and 5 added about 10 years ago. Of course, the Andretti hairpin, the best opportunity for passing, but of course, with the multiple classes here, we're going to see passing literally at every point on this racetrack. Without question, the most famous part of this racetrack, the corkscrew up at 7 and 8 there. And of course, the famous Alex Zanardi pass on Brian Herta up there has made that infamous, of course.
Did you see the jump that Payno, Scott?
Magnussen with a huge jump down into turn 1 backwards. Here's the other angle. Look at the bodywork damage there. Now, that leads us to the question, is the Audi damaged? We've already talked about how tough those cars are, but you never know.
Oh, the number 6 BMW is off the road. What a shame.
And Derek, whatever has happened, that is a major, major incident. I don't know if that car lost a wheel or if it's made contact with something else. That is the Cunningham car.
Yeah, Peter Cunningham and Johannes van Overbeek, and of JJ Leto. There is Peter Cunningham. Walks away slowly. Absolutely left that BMW in kit form. The number 6, the new M3. We'll be right back.
Is more like a race car that has been developed into a street car than vice versa. Clearly, the Viper and the Corvette are street cars that have been developed into race cars.
This is on board a number 7 BMW. Hans Stuck is behind the wheel. Hans Stuck will share this with Boris said. A lot of engine problems. They had an engine blow up on Saturday morning and had changed the engine right before qualifying. Yikes, the 77 comes slicing down the inside.
And again, that is the battle for second. You saw the BMW come through first and then the Audi. And look at how they just drive away. It will become a dot in the distance very shortly here. And as you say, Magnussen is committed. He has to make the move.
And the other side of the argument is the leader of the race maybe has to give everybody else the benefit of the doubt and behave himself. So there's two sides of the argument here. The number 23 Porsche on the way down the hill, because that was almost even more blatant. Now there is Kevin Buckler.
Oh, who was that?
Yikes.
Who was that? That looked like a BMW to me. It was the 43 car.
That is the car that we saw off the road earlier on that first lap. It's also the Le Mans winning car.
Has that Porsche put some oil down there? Look at there you go. There's the leader. The leader's off, Derek.
Can you believe that?
There must be some oil on the racetrack. Both of the BMWs off there at turn 3. So Magnussen back in the lead, but now with the Audi hot on his heels. There's the number 43. It gets back on the racetrack. Of course, the racetrack a real mess there now because both of those cars have dragged all sorts of dirt and rocks and debris.
Jean-Marc Gounon behind the wheel of the Audi throws the thing off the road for some reason. What? There's the oil there. There's the reason. There is the reason.
Yeah, that car has lost a motor, and there is a bunch of oil on the racetrack, and the two BMWs. There's the first one, the 43. And lucky for that gravel trap, because that gravel trap did keep him out of the barrier.
And that, remember the flip over, the Petit Le Mans, this is the car that replaced it. They could not rebuild the car, so this number 43 car is the actual Le Mans winning car from 2 years ago.
And there's another angle of the 43 car, and that the entry of that corner very, very tricky because you're never really straight. You get out there and you brake and you turn, you downshift. What happened? This is coming down out of, oh, well, look at that. It was the Audi was trying to get a position, and these two are leaning on each other. He's trying to play hardball with the Audi, and they both go around.
Can you believe what these boys are doing here? I mean, the GT cars complain about the P cars being rough against them. These P cars are in a boxing match with each other. What we're talking about here.
Thank you very much, Derek. Yeah, it's great to be here with you.
You know, you've watched some of the action that we've seen here, Derek. There's so many elevation changes here. Does that leave drivers unsighted and maybe cause some of this?
Without a doubt. I mean, the fact is there's no real straight here, and the straight has a brow on it and a kink to the left. So there is nowhere really, and there's a little bit here, but you can't overtake anybody much there. The guy, look at that. You see, the guy's so involved with taking his line for the corner. How can he possibly look in his mirrors and let a quicker car by? And so the fast cars just have to take any opportunity they get. But I think they are being a little bit rash today.
Yeah, maybe a big bit. Derek, you raced the Audi S4, I believe. Now, so you're very knowledgeable of this whole Audi freight train that's been developing this year. What type of investment are they making in motorsports in America right now?
I wish I knew. I don't think they know actually.
Open checkbook.
I think the fact is that the major part about it is, of course, was their Le Mans program, and you can bet they spent thousands and millions on that. But having done that, they then decided to come over here, and I think it was very wise. And I know Len Hunt, the head of Audi USA, obviously had to put up the budget to bring those cars here. And part of the program with the S4 champion Audi is just a very small part of that budget. So you look at that, sorry, just saying, look at that move there. I mean, the BMW of Said and Stuck, I mean, he just eased over just to let the guy by. And this is a very professional pairing you're riding with right now.
And I think these guys really spend as much time looking in the rearview mirrors as they do out in the front. I mean, you can't, you know, the prototypes close up so quickly in the braking zones, especially with these GT cars, that you can put the brakes on and no one's in your mirrors, and all of a sudden you get to the turning point and there's a car there.
Well, that's absolutely it with the speeds that these guys are going. The only thing I think the advantage here is the track is very slippery, and I don't think the closing speeds are quite as great as they were, say, at Atlanta the other week.
Derek, you raced here just a couple of hours ago. Talk us through some of the corners here and some of the difficulties. So the GT battle heats up. It's now Porsche and BMW. The GTS battle is Viper leads, Chevrolet Corvette is second, but the two Audis are out in front. And Alan McNish has taken so many trophies home. He was actually doing the Formula 3000 championship in Europe, and at Donington Park one time had a huge crash. A spectator got killed, and that really derailed Alan McNish for quite a few years because he had aspirations of Formula 1, and he may still get there. He is currently contracted to Toyota to head up their test and development program next year with view hopefully to racing in that F1 program in the year 2002. Meanwhile, back on track, our number 7 BMW is now leading the GT category. So Boris and Hans Stuck have hauled that BMW up to lead the GT category. The pit stop that we saw with Randy Post and Bruno Lambert has handed the lead to Stuck and to Boris Said. Boris Said is behind the wheel as we speak, so they have made their driver change.
And And Derek, I don't think it got handed to them. I think the 7 car actually had to earn it. And we've got an onboard here. This is turn 2. To pass for the class lead, I'll tell you, but I think again it was a case of Lambert probably was not even aware that he was there or was going to try and make that pass as the prototype car was going up the inside and taking the line away, and Boris said, well, if you make the hole, I can fill it, and that's exactly what he did.
Quick bit of news from around the motorsports world, and certainly in America. Fernandez, as cool as it is, that's so tired. But hang on, let's go to Calvin Fish first. Calvin?
Well, just a quick update, Derek. As you saw, Beretta did jump in the car and Vendlinger jumped out. So a fresh driver there. Ron Fellows, I believe, is just going to do a double stint in the vet. Both cars took on tires. So they should be in similar shape. And looks like the Viper has a bit of a handy lead right now. But anything can happen here in traffic, guys.
Yes, indeed. We're going to try and keep a real close eye. It looks like the 2 Vipers. They've got all, it looks like, I'm trying to see the change of the score here, about a 44-second lead over the Chevrolet Corvette with Fellows in it doing a double stint.
Well, we'll see how that shakes out once this Viper gets
back live on board with the number 7 BMW. And don't forget, the FIM World Superbike continues from Brands Hatch in England, legs 1 and 2, and it's tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on Speed Vision. Lots and lots of motorcycle fans now flock to watch these races on Speed Vision. Leader in the GT category. Boris said and Hank Stuck. We believe this is said. Yes, it is behind the wheel. We saw him make the pass for that lead in the class over Randy Popes earlier. Bruno Lambert is now behind the wheel of the 2nd place car in GT. The Cunningham BMW is now 3rd in that class. And we don't see the Dick Barber boys on the scoring monitor as we watch it. We only have the first 20 places on our scoring monitor here.
And Boris said has legged out a nice little gap of about 28 seconds on the 2nd place car in GT. Oh, was that Alan McNish? That looked like car contact. It continues to put some pressure on, as we've already discussed. Doubtful that they will be allowed to race each other. Having said that, if an opportunity presents itself in traffic, you want to be close, you want to be in touch, and you want to be able to take advantage.
That is down at the Andretti hairpin. Double apex corner. You turn in, and then suddenly there's a tiny short straight, then you turn back again. Long sliding corner, as this one is here. But then the speed really builds up through turn 5. This one right here.
The guys coming up the hill cannot see that car. We can see it from our angle, but look at him.
How could he avoid the action right there?
Well, they can't see him. That car sits down in a little dip there, and he needs to get out of that car.
This has to be a full course yellow. There is so much debris that is on the way up the hill. Just take a look at the type of debris that you have to make your way through. This is on board with the number 7 BMW.
Well, look at how he comes over that crest, and that car is just revealed there down in that dip. And I think we were very lucky not to have a much more serious incident here with him parked there, because there's just nowhere, you just can't see it. Look at how these guys literally stopped on the hill. Race cars do not like this.
They get so hot they need air for look at the destruction there.
When you were sweet last time, you won at Sears Point, you lost it in technical inspection, but you're running 1-2 right now, but a problem with the 7 car, I believe.
Well, I believe we refueled and we went a little bit too fast, so we have to take a stop and go here. But it's not that bad. We are led up, and you can day it as they drop the green, so we hope for the best here.
GT battle looks like it's going to get really intense for next year. There's talk of Schnitzer running a BMW team as well.
Well, we're happy. Our cars are better, but you've got to remember some of the fast cars have dropped out or had some bad luck, but that's racing. You have to have good luck and ain't a good car.
Okay, well, they needed that caution now, a little tight on the fuel window. They pitted a little early, and they just took advantage of this caution, but meanwhile...
Okay, so boys, here we go again. Audi, there's the Celine car in the middle of the mix. back to the Vipers. There is your GT winner. GT winner. Hans-Joachim and Boris said combined to bring that thing. That now ends Porsche's 13 race in a row win streak. They tried to end it at Sears Point. They almost did. It was a titanic struggle all weekend long, or all day long, but finally BMW does come through. A little bit of help from their friends. Some of the quick guys did drop out, but Boris said behind the wheel, boy, they've stretched this car so much. The engine has got more and more power, sometimes a tiny bit less reliable, but today, they will take the victory. BMW wins the GT class podium, and it gives us a chance to look at our unofficial results. And it was somewhat predictable at the end of the day, Jeremy, but I tell you what, it was a fight for Audi to get there.
And there's no question that this was a real opportunity for the Panos team to take a real, genuine win, because that win at Nürburgring, there was rain involved, a lot of strategy, but this was straight up a great race, and they could have dominated it.
Yes, it did. And you saw that the top GTS car there finished in 8th place, which was a good run for them. As you look down through the rest, 24th place was the Olive Garden Lola. They did a yeoman service job to get that crashed car back in the race and to run as well as it did before. They had some unfortunate engine problems. Look at the Panos car, number 31. That car led convincingly until they fell afoul of some engine troubles, etc. We'll be back.
Half of them, actually. Hans-Joachim, I don't know where his dance partner is, but Boris gets lost a lot. We haven't had this conversation in a long time. Well deserved today, Hans.
Thank you very much, and thanks to my brother Boris, of course. And I want to dedicate this win to my mom. She had a heart attack on Monday. I wasn't sure if we're going to leave or not. So finally I made it. She's better, and I want to dedicate this win to her and wish her well at home.
We wish her well as well.
Thank you.
Very physical race today out there.
Oh yes, it was, because I had soft tires on, which wasn't meant to be, but I had to use them from the qualifying. I had to be very careful with the first 54 laps, but it worked out fine, and I kept the car on the road and made a good basement for Boris, and he did the rest, you know. Perfect.
Congratulations to Hans-Joachim and Boris.
After all these years, Hans-Joachim still is winning races, and he has been through the gambit, Jeremy, of Group C cars and P cars, and now back to basic